Alright, I am back with a Destiny 2 video. Today is Monday, a day we do not usually get Destiny news, but over the weekend, well, technically today, servers went live yesterday, game launched today, I believe 10 years ago, and for the decade anniversary, there are some in-game, out-of-game things they're doing. There is a D1 inspired armor set that I guess you can just find in the Pale Heart Exploring, which is cool. Glad they didn't monetize that. But the main draw today is Destiny is talking about Frontiers, which is 9 months early. I think we can all agree that community sentiment is not great. I don't imagine Bungie sentiment is amazing either, given that there were 200 plus layoffs and the future of the game is unclear with and it's not clear how players are going to be enticed to return, so we will see how this goes. Okay, so today marks the 10-year anniversary of Destiny. We set out in 2014 to do something new and different for our studio. We've conquered the Witness, looted dungeons, ascended to the Lighthouse, and more. I've not read this, by the way. This is my first time reading it. Now we look to the future. We're plotting our course to the stars through Codename Frontiers. We closed the door. All right, so we're leaving the system. We close the door with the final shape. We are opening a new one, a weird one, an exciting one that takes Destiny to places it has never been before. We're building this future now and are excited to share with you a first glimpse of it today. Okay, well, here's a pretty weird timeline. Okay, so there is a summer 2025 expansion and a winter 2025 expansion, and then a summer major update, fall major update, winter major update, and spring major update. Okay, so expansion, new stories, locations, mission, weapons, gear, raids, and dungeons. That sounds like a normal expansion, except obviously these are going to be smaller. Seasonal update, new and reprised activities, new gear, artifact mods, new modifiers, and challenges, new sandbox, meta, new events. This does not say new story. So these would be, obviously an expansion story is not going to span the entire year the way seasons do. There's a rewards pass. That's, I'm assuming, a season pass. So there's going to be, 4 of these again? Or 2? Exotic weapon and ornament, legendary weapon and armor ornaments, gear upgrade, resources, cosmetics, and more. Okay, so they're going to explain this further. This roadmap lays out our plan for year 11 and beyond with some exciting changes coming to our annual model. Exciting changes. 2 expansions per year, 4 updates of free content every year. Okay, so they're not really seasons. It's free update, although it does not, I would not imagine these are going to be as substantive as seasons, and there are still, a battle pass you can buy. Over the next few months, we will be sharing more info with you on Codename Frontiers, which is how we are describing major innovations coming to Destiny over the next few years, starting with our next expansion, Codename Apollo. We have several dev insight deep dives going live today, and we'll continue to add more to this list over the weeks and months to come. Today we have Tyson Green, the game director for Destiny 2, and Allison Lures, the narrative director, diving through some of our plans for the future of Destiny 2. Our goal is to be more transparent in our communications with you. This means sharing our work more frequently, even if you see our mistakes and false starts along the way. So please remember that our roadmap and plans are subject to change as we get deeper into development. Ultimately, this is your game too. We want to see more of how it was made and why. If you take away nothing else, it should be this. We're excited for Destiny to change and improve in ways that allow it to keep evolving in the future. So in terms of changing, what I heard before was that it was a smaller expansion and then kind of like interim fill the gap, seasonal-ish, episode-ish content, and then the update 6 months later was going to be something closer to Into the Light. It's possible that changed, and now there are 2 smaller expansions. We don't exactly know the scale of this. These are all the same things in an expansion, but obviously Destiny is not going from doing a big expansion every year and a half to the same size expansions every 6 months. So that will be a reduction. We'll see how much they go into it here. Okay, deep dives. Is this the same page or a different page? Okay. So this is a good amount of information. They said it would be a small blog post, but it seems pretty big. Okay. Tyson Green. My name is concept art. My name is Tyson Green, and I'm the game director for Destiny 2. He's the guy who replaced Joe. He's been a Bungie a very long time, and I'm excited to speak today about our team's vision for Destiny. First and foremost, we all still love Destiny. It is a unique and challenging game both for you and for us. I've personally been working on Destiny for 15 years, and it still excites me creatively. There are not many games I could say that about. But at the same time, we recognize it has become too rigid. Expansions have started to feel too formulaic and are over too quickly with little replay value. Seasons and episodes keep getting bigger, but we can still feel like you are just going through the motions. We believe it's time for Destiny to change and evolve, and that our community wants this game to grow and innovate too. And to do that, we need to start breaking some of the molds. Annual expansions. So we're going to start with annual expansions. We've loved creating annual expansions and are especially proud of the final shape. But the truth is they dominate almost all of our development effort. We need to free ourselves up to explore and innovate how we deliver Destiny 2 content so we can invest in areas of the game that will feel more impactful to players. Starting next year, instead of one big expansion, we are delivering 2 medium-sized expansions, one every 6 months. Each of these will depart from the one-shot campaign structure we've been using essentially since Shadowkeep and will be an opportunity to explore exciting new formats instead. Was Forsaken not that? Okay. We are excited to try new things that challenge your idea of what a Destiny experience can be. Take a shot every time you hear excited in this. We are actively prototyping non-linear campaigns, exploration experiences similar to Dreaming City or Metroidvanias, and even more unusual formats like roguelikes or survival shooters, like the survival shooter that sort of got canceled. I guess that was an adventure game. Who knows? It's dead now. Each expansion will present a new opportunity to try something different, so they won't all be the same format. Oh, okay, so maybe they are doing something into the light-ish for one of these. Departing from one-shot campaigns doesn't mean we are turning away from great storytelling. Going forward, we want to return the mystery and wonder that was woven into the fabric of early Destiny when the story felt ripe with possibilities and an epic sense of exploration and discovery. Great stories are as important as ever in our creative vision, and Allison will touch on that more below. Seasons. These are changing. With the change to 2 expansions a year, our seasonal model will be changing as well. Instead of 3 episodes, we will be building 4 major updates per year, one every 3 months. So they're not really calling them seasons anymore. Each expansion will launch alongside a major update at the start of a season, and a second major update will follow 3 months later to refresh the core game with new and reprised content. Activities, strikes, exotic missions, or entirely new modes like onslaughts, rewards, weapons, armor, artifact mods, exotics, and more. Okay. New weekly events, new features, combat meta and balance updates. Okay, well, hopefully. It's kind of a given. The big seasonal resets will still happen, but now twice a year alongside the expansions. Okay, so not hard breaks, every 3 episodes, every 4 seasons, 2 resets, essentially. Each update will be a substantial refresh of the core game. I keep saying core game, and I'm not entirely sure what that means. Like the playlist activities, bringing new activities and reward content. We are also excited to announce that Destiny 2 Into the Light, these updates and their content will be free to all players. Okay, there's the Into the Light thing, but that's being spread out. I don't know if they're going to make something Into the Light size every seasonal update. That seems a little much. It's just saying it's free, like Into the Light. It's not saying it's the size of Into the Light. We want Destiny to be easier for anyone to play or recommend, so we want to remove that major barrier to the experience, which means we need to talk about the core game itself. Okay, well, this is what the core game is. The core game is Destiny's always available evergreen activity experience, and we need to fix 2 key things with it. Approachability. First, Destiny is too complex. With literally hundreds of activities, you need a PhD to decide what to play and how to get rewards you're looking for. We're going to fix this by modernizing our activity UI, the director, to make it easier for everyone to find and launch into great activities. And we're working to reward our model to make sure that all of those activities offer meaningful rewards. Our deep dives on activities and rewards go into more detail on these changes in particular. I think I'm going to have to click through to the other things that they published after this, I don't think these are the same thing. Gear and challenge should matter. Even great activities stop mattering if the challenge dries up and the rewards aren't worth it, so we're investing in a greatly improved challenge customization systems to let players of any skill range find the right challenge level for them. with rewards that improve based on the challenge level you take on. Is that not what we have? Okay. These won't be simple incoming damage increases either. The team is cooking up some great gameplay modifiers that give enemies some exciting tools to mix things up on every run. So not just Vandals dying and spawning slow mines. We have a deep dive coming soon to show off some of these new threats. As for the rewards, there will be higher tiers of legendary gear. Think adept weapons and artifice armor that will be available from these higher challenge ranges and a much wider variety of activities across PvE and PvP. These two changes will help the core game experience to be easier to drop into and much deeper in terms of variety and pursuit of personal mastery. And they're a starting point for ongoing changes aimed to continue to improve Destiny in these regards. Allison, the next multiplayer saga starts with Codename Apollo. Hello, I'm Allison. I'm the D2 narrative director. I'm a fresh face at Bungie. I started doing narrative direction for seasons in fall 2022, and my first D2 expansion was The Final Shape. Well, good start. We're proud of The Final Shape and the ending we created for the Light and Darkness saga, and we knew that the episodes that follow would act as an epilogue, tying up Light and Dark's hanging threads, but also setting us up for what's next. The episodes close doors and open new ones, purposeful ones, storylines that are set in place to prepare us for what comes next. And what's next is our new saga. Yeah. So Frontiers was always meant to be like the start of a new saga rather than like that's the name of the expansion. You'll see teases of it. I'm like not really paying attention to this concept art, but that's pretty cool. There's like a ship. Is this Earth? That seems like Earth if there's that kind of ship there. So that may not be another planet. Okay, you'll see teases of it in the later two episodes, then fully kick off with Codename Apollo. The next saga is based around a core theme, much like Light and Darkness did. It will introduce plenty of new characters, factions, twists, and more. Does faction mean enemy type, or does faction mean like here's another fallen house or soul divisive X thing? I guess we'll see. There's a lot more here we will say eventually, but we don't want to spoil the journey for you. This will be a multi-year journey, one we can't wait to take you on. So this is confirming kind of what we all knew, that Destiny 2 is continuing on for many more years, as opposed to getting Destiny 3. That was never in the cards and was confirmed by recent reporting that Destiny 3 has not been in the works. So okay. Our first expansion, Codename Apollo, is a non-linear, character-driven adventure. What do we mean by Codename Apollo is non-linear? Previously, in stories like The Final Shape, you experience the story as A to B to C to D in a nice straight line. In Codename Apollo, our story takes place over dozens of threads you'll explore and discover. So when you land on our brand new location, the story starts at A, and then you can choose if you want to explore C first, or try to get to B, or investigate D. The options you didn't choose, don't worry. Those other options are still open for you to go back and play through. You'll need to, because the more you play and discover, the more the story progresses. So experience a certain number of threads opens up the next part of the story. The order in which you explore will be something you choose, but we have built Codename Apollo in the way the story makes sense and flows from beginning to middle to end. There's no time gating, no waiting for the next drop. No time gating. Good. Well, I mean, expansion launches are not usually time gated. I mean, all the missions are available at once. Codename Apollo story unfolds based on player progression. Okay, so I don't, it's certainly a lot different, and I somewhat question how effective a story will be if it's in these sort of weirdly winding parts. But at the very least, I think it'll be good to try something new rather than just blazing through, 8 campaign missions. Even if the campaign missions are good, like, I think mixing up the format is not the worst idea in the world. Like, obviously, I'm not talking about this whole concept, but in terms of at least experimenting with the non-linear story, I could see that, especially in something where, building those giant ass campaign missions, like you have to understand how resource heavy those are. Those are insanely resource heavy. However, if this is just like fucking around in a destination in patrol mode with little, this thing is a lost sector or something where you're, it's got to still be pretty substantive, but obviously we should not be expecting anything on the scale of a normal expansion. They're also talking about Codename Apollo, so it's possible this non-linear thing changes in the future. They talked about Metroidvania stuff. We'll see what that means, but this seems to be the first one here. What are these little floaty things? What's going on with that? Okay, so this is not Earth. This is, even though there was a ship there, so this is somewhere else. I don't know enough about space to know where that is. Guess we'll see. All right, Destiny is at its best when it's mysterious, weird, and not afraid to try new things. The shift to nonlinear stories isn't something we're locking ourselves into, yeah, see, but it is the structure that fits Codename Apollo best. The narrative structure of the releases that follow will be quite different, a structure to suit that game's experience, and we want to continue to innovate with each expansion across both gameplay and narrative. I don't hate that. Understanding that they cannot keep up what they're doing with their increasingly limited resources and layoffs, I'm at least interested to see how this will go. I cannot speak for the broader player population, and nothing I'm really hearing here inspires confidence that tons of people are going to flock to this, but we'll see. All right, we'll keep going. Into the unknown. This all sounds like a big change, and it is, because when the rhythm of our story becomes predictable, or when characters or a world fail to change, that's how we create a situation, not a story. So how can we innovate? By telling a story that keeps up with our innovation, not one that slows it down. That means in an evolving world, giving space for new characters, growing and evolving factions, making sure the story we tell is in a world we have nurtured and characters who grow in turn. We believe in rewarding the player for paying attention without punishing someone for not knowing something. That way everyone gets to come along for the ride, no matter how deep in the lore they are. You'll see that approach starting with episodes and continuing into the new multi-year story. So when we think about a multi-year arc, what does that look like? Think of it as a constellation of stories united by a single theme. We will show you what that theme is later, but suffice to say, we believe in it. Think of this multiplayer arc as a web, not a line. Each release fits into the larger saga. We can't wait to take you on the journey. Okay, so even the entire saga is not necessarily linear in the traditional sense. All right, story is easy to follow, so I won't ruin the details for what the theme in Codename Apollo is or what it's about, but I will give you something to look forward to. Apollo ends with the narrative gasoline that will propel us into the next few years with a clear theme, goal, and destination that won't come at you as a straight line, but it will be well worth the trip. They're really hating straight lines. Okay, it'll reward you, it'll surprise you, and it'll take us places Destiny has never been before. See you when the time is right. Okay, so the implication is that we're leaving the system. I do wonder if Apollo could start still in the system, and then at the end of that, that's when we leave the system. That much is happening. Like, we know that we're leaving the system. It's kind of just a matter of when and how. Everyone thinks we're taking the Dreadnought. We'll see. Okay. And with that, we come to a close. Well, a new beginning, really. Over the next few months, we'll be dishing out more deep dives and engaging in more conversation. We have no doubts the above breakdown of Codename Frontiers will spawn far more questions that we can answer, but we'll be looking to keep you up to date as we take flight. Keep an eye on the deep dive section, as we'll be adding links to further topics. Thank you again for joining us on the first 10-year journey in Destiny. We've been through so much, battling the darkness and stopping the witness. Now it's time to look to the stars again. It's time to imagine, to dream big, and explore what our futures can be with this universe. We have our heading and hope to see you join us along the way. Destiny Dev Team. Okay, so I think there are other things to read here. Okay, yeah, all right. So this is more stuff happening. I'm going to read all of this because this is all very important. This is going to take a long time to do all of these, but I think it's important to get through these and discuss them and not, make a half-assed analysis. I'm going to have to write all of this up in some sort of summary format for an article too, but it's a big day. It's this is very important. So, all right, welcome to one of many developer insight articles for Codename Frontiers. Over the weeks and months to come, we will be covering a lot of different topics about changes coming to Destiny 2 next year with these deeper dives. Check back with our Paving the Way for New Frontiers article for more information on our plans. Yeah, we just read that. Let's talk about core game activities. The core game is Destiny's always available ritual activity offering, ranging from Strike to Crucible to events. I'm assuming events are like seasonal things? Going forward, an even wider range of core game activities will provide more variety, deeper mastery, and better rewards through the introduction of challenge customization. Okay, TLDR, what they're about to talk about. Core game updates or core game activities feature a wider variety of new and updated activities across many types with an updated selection every major update. Challenge customization will provide a way to adjust activity difficulty with better rewards for those seeking more challenge. The new portal screen allows for quick access to core game activities, making it easy to find what you want to play. The problem. In past Destiny releases, all attention has been on a relatively small offering of newly introduced seasonal activities, most often with a narrow range of difficulty options, if any. Yeah, normal, legendary. Rewards and objectives have been focus all purposeful play into these activities to the exclusion of most others. As a result, the ritual game becomes quickly stale and is exhausted of worthwhile rewards, and any further pursuit requires a pretty deep knowledge of Destiny or online guides to find worthwhile rewards in older activities. The solution: core game activity offering and the portal. The core game activities are those accessed from the new portal screen and are together a selection of several dozen new and updated activities that tie into the current seasonal theme and gameplay meta. This selection is updated every major update and includes the current expansion and any running events. Okay, so here's the screen. Is this the whole curator? Okay, no, there's still a map. Okay, this isn't the map. All right. Okay, so we have solo ops, fire team ops, pinnacle ops, crucible, and events! Exclamation mark. Early mockup that is subject to change. For more information on the portal, please check out the deep dive. Link. There is a link on the other page. These activities cover a wide variety of activity types from strikes to dungeons to crucible. I'm assuming crucibles or dungeons or pinnacle ops, maybe? And are organized in categories with similar fire team requirements. Challenge customization. The major change to core game activities is that they all support deeper personal mastery and a corresponding deep reward offering. We'll start with PvE activities and dive into Crucible and PvP, which present unique challenges. All of the PvE activities will now support robust challenge customization, exposed as new options alongside selecting the difficulty. Okay, so here is... This seems like you're kind of adding modifiers, is the impression I get here. This might be a player selection, and this ups your rewards the more stuff you add. I mean, this isn't exactly a new concept in games, but that seems to be maybe what we're moving toward. Or this increases this when you run it to rank up faster, to get more rewards, something like that. This is a really early mock-up. I would not give this shit for looking as basic as it does, because again, this is at least 9 months away, and this is not going to be finalized. It's going to look more complicated than this. Okay. Work in progress mockups. Yeah. Challenge customization gives you the ability to select and activate challenge modifiers which affect the activity you are launching. These challenge modifiers may introduce new enemy combatant abilities to increase their threat, introduce new combat challenges that change how you play, provide incentives for changing up your build crafting, raise the power target for the activity globally, increasing the difficulty. As a player, you'll be able to select a base difficulty such as Expert or Grandmaster. The difficulty will set some base difficulty tuning and a power target, but more importantly will determine how many challenge modifiers you can add on, and in some cases, which challenge modifiers are available. Higher difficulty means more challenge modifiers to slot and a wider variety of options to choose from. So ultimate skill, whatever, is going to be Grandmaster, and then you click all the options for all the challenges. It's essentially selecting your own modifiers with, I guess, some level of choice to it. So, no doubt people are going to do max run kind of stuff to see how it is. The the problem we can already see here is it's the Glassway, which already exists as a, Nightfall or something. So this is here's a Nightfall with a different way to add modifiers to it. So, okay. Reward rating. Rising to the right level of challenge can make an activity not only more fun to play, but more rewarding too. All core game activities will support reward rating, which is a combined team and personal score that determines the amount of quality and rewards obtained at the end of the activity. So it's like score and killing champions, but hopefully it's not you missed a champion, your score goes down. It seems a little more focused than that based on the modifiers. Again, this is something we do see in other games, so it's not the craziest evolution of this. Reward rating is increased by playing an activity at higher base difficulty, applying challenge modifiers, which have individual bonuses to reward rating, having personal bonuses for sources like power, artifacts, or buffs. Here's how reward rating works. As a team, you will earn a team rating over the activity determined on a per-activity basis. Sometimes this will resemble existing systems like a Nightfall score, but new activity types can have their own way to determine team rating. This outcome is shared by all members of the team and will always try to mitigate competition between teammates for things like scoring kills or specific setups. Yeah, that's good. You don't want to be fighting people for kills. At the end of the activity, your team rating is multiplied by any personal bonuses you may have. This final multiplied value is your reward Reward rating is very hard to say, and this value is used to determine the quality and quantity of rewards. Reward rating is used to determine things like the quality tier of the weapons and armor that drop, or the quantity of useful consumables like enhancement prisms or ascendant shards. So those aren't going away. In this way, you can select any core game activity, use your skill, and build to take on more and more challenging versions of it and earn higher tier rewards. Except Crucible. Is Gambit in here? I didn't see any Gambit. Shit. Gambit's dead. No, I don't know. I'm assuming Gambit's not dead. Okay, Crucible. Crucible is a unique challenge because you cannot simply add challenge modifiers or use the score of the match as a team rating. This is a tricky problem we're still working out. We're working through options like factoring in matchmaking ratings or leveraging existing progressions, but each presents unique challenges to our end goal of ensuring Crucible offers our PvP players a fair and complete path to higher tier weapons and armor. We will be excited to share a solution once we have that nailed down. I'm sure that will be very reassuring to Crucible players and, the people noting that like Trials of Osiris has like 2,000 total matches or something going on every weekend. Okay. FAQ, what about expansion activities? Expansion activities such as story missions or destination activities present some unique challenges in how they relate to power and changing seasons. Our intended outcome is that expansion content is always a great way to start off the season and will have a path to high tier weapons and armor, but that progress via core game activities will be part of that path. So go run 10 core strikes and come back? Okay. Raids and dungeons released with expansion still represent a pinnacle challenge for players and will have their own paths to the highest tier of weapons and armor too. Okay, one thing is, are they doing a raid every 6 months? And then are they doing 2 dungeons a year? Because like a raid every 6 months is a significant difference, an increase from what we have now if every mini expansion is getting a raid. And it did say on the other page, the new medium expansions include raids. I do wonder if everyone will include one. It seems to me like that would be kind of a reach. Especially if they're trying to focus on content that, quote unquote, everyone can do, and rates of like a 20% completion rate among the player base or something. So I am very curious about that. Are old activities going away? No, except for some seasonal activities that are normally removed at the end of a year. Older activities will remain available to launch from the destination map just as they are today. Like what? I'm not sure what they're referencing here. Okay, over time, it is our intention to clean up and retire some older activities offerings that are well served by the portal, such as Vanguard Ops. Oh, so they're gonna keep like Vanguard Gambit Strikes or Vanguard Gambit Crucible nodes, but then they're gonna put some stuff in the portal. Is that what they're saying? Okay. How does matchmaking work with challenge customization? For activities that support matchmaking, like those in Fireteam Ops, matchmaking will be available for some preset difficulties, but using challenge customization to enable different challenge modifiers will disable matchmaking. Yeah, okay, I figured. But while Fireteam Finder may be a good way to pick up some slack here, we also intend to feature higher challenge options on a daily rotation. Yeah, that's going to get really complicated if you're Fireteam finding and then with randoms, you got to pick the exact modifiers, like as opposed to like, okay, this is Grandmaster. We all know what Grandmaster's like. Let's go. It's like, how do you do this with Fireteam Finder when it's like manually selecting all the modifiers? Okay. These activities should be concentrated in enough populations to ensure matchmaking can do a good job setting up good matches with solid connections. Okay, so that's the end of this. Rewards. How long is this? Not that. All right, we'll see. Okay. Yeah, they said the same thing. All right, now let's talk about the core game rewards. Core game expansion and event activities will feature a reworked reward offering that provides a deeper reward chase across a wider range of activities. TLDR, weapons and armor will be available in a deeper range of quality across a wider range of activities. Core game activities will have dedicated reward pools for different categories of activities. Gear will be labeled new gear during the season as it is introduced, and is easier to recognize and build craft around. So you don't have to know what all the symbols mean, I think. That's accessibility in action. The problem. In past Destiny seasons, only a narrow range of activities received updated rewards, leading to a narrow selection of activities worth playing. This is like base activities giving like one new weapon, a season. These reward pools tended not to be very deep either, with most chases bottoming out with weapon perk rolls or crafting recipes. Is anything happening to crafting in this update? I wonder. And armor not mattering much at all. Yes, that is deeply true. These problems have resulted in shallow, unsatisfying grinds in a tiny subset of the activities actually available to play, with their best rewards being a matter of luck rather than skill or mastery. That is true. The solution, weapon and armor tiers. Oh boy, tier 5 sortie. Interesting. Okay. Oh my god, it has 3 perks. Or wait, no, that's field tested. And you can, I guess, max or master, whatever it's friggin' called, max out field tested. Interesting. And, everything on it. Okay. Legendary weapons and armor will be available in a deeper range of quality tiers and layer based on properties like stat bonuses, enhanced perks, and other benefits. Suicide Squad just added this. For weapons, this will be similar to how adept weapons upgrade the baseline legendary. The baseline tier of legendary weapons and armor will be equivalent to current day legendaries, with higher tiers being generally equivalent to adept weapons in terms of upgrade. So it's more of a sliding scale between normal drops and adepts, but also with crafting and enhanced perks. Enhanced, that's what it's freaking called. Early mockups that are subject to change, so we're not getting pink cost off. These higher tiers of weapons will be available from a full range of core activities as rewards for higher challenge tiers and mastery of those activities. Reward pools are complete sets of weapons and armor that are available as rewards for one or more activities. Some weapons are shared across multiple pools, but the majority of weapons and all armor are unique to a single pool. A typical pool is a full armor set for each class and enough weapons to provide multiple options for each weapon slot. All of these rewards are available at all tiers, so each reward pool is deep and supports a range of challenge in the activity they are associated with. The major core game reward pools will be updated every major update, so, quote, seasonally-ish. Core PvE, rewards shared among more accessible PvE activities like strikes. Core PvP, rewards among accessible PvP activities like Crucible. Pinnacle, rewards shared among intrinsically challenging PvE activities like dungeons. Okay, that was dungeons. Pinnacle PvP, like Trials. So Trials still exists. Every expansion contains 2 full reward pools. Expansion story, rewards shared among missions, exploration, or other activities in the expansion content. Expansion raid dungeon, rewards for expansion raid or dungeon activities. Okay, so what we don't know is really the volume here. Like, when there is a major update, how many things are being added. We almost maybe got too many things added, but we had a good amount of at least cosmetic armor sets every season and a lot of weapons. I am certainly curious how much stuff gets added per thing, because like they're changing the reward pool for intrinsically challenging activities like dungeons aren't going to have like a new set of weapons. So like I'm wondering how much is being reused here. Like if they're just going to be like, okay, the reward pools are these 10 things, this, and then we're going to switch to 10 other things that you've already seen with new perks or whatever. This seems like a way to reuse a lot of stuff is the impression I'm getting. And what's going to happen to all our current gear in our vaults that does not have tiers? This seems like something I'd heard before, where people told me that they were going to like do some sort of like new soft sunsetting thing where like they're not saying you can't use your old weapons, but like, are they going to be auto converted into new tier weapons with enhanceable field test and barrels and whatever? My guess is no. So if not, prepare to get some pushback on that. New gear. New gear will be a blanket category for all of the weapons newly introduced in the season, regardless of source. It will receive a special visual treatment to help players identify which weapons or armor sets are new and therefore may benefit from things like artifact bonuses. Okay, so I'm assuming this is like the things with this origin trait have upgrades or whatever thing. Like, so it sounds like the artifact isn't changing too much. All right, well, they're talking about it here. Some artifact bonuses which previously applied to specific perks, such as origin traits, will now be pointed toward the wider category of new gear instead. Okay, so this is also something I didn't hear, but this was in part of like one of those large leak things that did turn out to be mostly true. This was like, you are encouraged to use the quote seasonal weapons during the season, or like in this case the major updates. So like they're going to have things like all, pool weapons this major update are going to get this bonus or something. So as opposed to just like buffing the origin trait a little bit, I'm assuming it will be more substantial buffs to encourage you to use those specific weapons maybe above and beyond what they did before. Again, I don't know if all of these are going to be new weapons every time. That does seem kind of unlikely to me, given how much stuff is like always reissued. And if this is soft sunsetting, then they can reissue even more things in the new tier system. So I think we need... Oh, God. Okay. Okay, so here's the FAQ. New gear may be required in specific optional activities where players are looking for a level playing field. For example, a Crucible playlist with just that gear. Is that something people want to do? Seasonal events centered on posting high scores in specific activities. Okay. FAQ. Does this mean old gear is being sunset? No, not at all. Existing gear remains unchanged and ready to use in any activity except for those experimenting with new gear. It can be infused to achieve the same power as any newly introduced gear. The only specific advantage to using new gear will be some artifact synergies comparable to origin trait upgrades found on existing artifacts. But like, does this have the tier system? Like, is this... I know it can be infused to have the same power level, which is what it is now, but this looks a lot different than, most things I have in my vault and most things I can fully upgrade. So that seems a little weird. And then the artifact stuff is kind of how it works now, except if the bonuses are applying to like all new weapons, you're really going to be encouraged to be always using those new weapons to some extent. I'm thinking. Obviously, exotics are exempt from all of this. Okay. Can I still obtain old gear? Absolutely. Exclusive gear will remain available from older activities such as raids, dungeons, or destinations. So are those not being updated to the tier system? Or is the challenge thing, like, can you put that on a raid and then get like tier 5 raid drops? I'm somewhat confused about that. Okay. What's happening with weapon crafting? Weapon crafting is not going away. Boo. No, I know. People love weapon crafting. And will continue to be a way to craft a specific role of a weapon. Our intent for crafting going forward is to provide a catch-up mechanism for roles you weren't able to nab from additional sources. This may be because that source is no longer available or was gated by lockouts when it was. Okay. But ultimately, we want crafting to support the weapon chase and not replace it. We'll follow up on details in a future article. So I think they're going to nerf crafting a little bit. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, so that's the rewards one. That was kind of confusing, I'm going to say. And then they said that armor is like a useless chase. Is armor changing at all? Are they changing anything with armor other than normal armor with high stat rolls or artifice armor? Like, is anything else changing with armor? This is all about weapons. So if armor is like a shitty chase now, is it going to be better? Nothing here says that. Okay. The portal. Final stretch. All right. Kind of long. Let's keep going. Let's talk about the portal. All right. TLDR. The portal will offer several categories of activities, each with a wide selection of new and updated activities refreshed every 3 months with each major update. All activities in the portal will provide updated and worthwhile rewards, so it'll be easy to find something to play. Okay, so what the portal sounds like to me is they're just going to like rotate in and out the featured things here. So like, okay, this season, major update. I keep freaking changing the name. Season episode, major update. This one has Crucible in it. This one has strikes in it. But next time, maybe it doesn't. Maybe Gambit's here. Maybe just Iron Banner is here. I don't know. Like, it seems like they're going to rotate stuff out. Well, like Crucible, say Crucible rotates out, which that seems like one they probably should always have. Crucible is still available in, the Director, and you can still play Crucible, but it's not going to be rewarding this like pool of events. Okay. So the problem, Destination Map, also called the Director, is Destiny's venerable activity browsing and selection screen. Over the years, it has grown to be very unwieldy, making it harder to find specifically what's current and worthwhile to play, and requiring more expert knowledge to navigate to find what you're looking for. Even current players can have difficulty finding a new activity, while newer returning players are in greater trouble. Yeah, this is like you gotta like go to the map, you gotta like go to the helm. Is the helm dying? Is there no more helm? That'd be awesome. No more helm, please. The solution. The portal screen will be the new default activity selection screen, replacing the current destination map. Oh, this is the destination map. Oh, wow. Okay, so no more planets, just this. Is this thing? Wow. That's... Oh, wait. Okay. It's the default screen replacing destination map. So the destination map is the default, or currently, but it will still exist, I think. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Early mockup that is subject to change. Also, one thing they haven't mentioned here is any sort of content vaulting or any sort of content unvaulting. I know people will be like, they're releasing all the old raids. I do wonder if maybe the second raid could be an unvaulted one, or like, we're running out of D1 ones, so maybe there's gonna start bringing back like Leviathan and Scourge or whatever. Like, this is just me speculating. They didn't say that, but that would explain maybe how they can do 2 raids a year, because that's what they were doing before, because one is just a reprisal. I would imagine reprising Destiny 2 raids is probably easier than doing that with Destiny 1 raids, but we'll see. Okay, the emphasis of this redesign is quick and clean access to a wider offering of activities with updated rewards, as well as quick access to the current expansion or event content. Activities will be grouped into categories, more on these below, that expand to present a few dozen activities each. Oh, okay. Each activity available to launch in the portal will feature updated rewards every season and will prevent a viable path to the highest tiers of weapons armor available. I think what they mean is like, okay, Crucible, there's not just like Crucible where you click on Crucible and go to Crucible. There's like, all the modes within Crucible that are live or whatever. So that's what I'm assuming they mean for that. Our intent is mostly for activity launching in a season to occur from the portal, and any choice you make will be a path to worthwhile rewards. So this is like really, really, really reducing the complexity, where like you'll just see the screen and be like, here's the 5 things you should do for the time being. Oh, you can go over here and do the expansion stuff. There you go. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of how it is now, I guess, but it's very, very streamlined. Jeez. Portal categories. Individual categories in the portal are solo ops, 1 to 3 player activities requiring low time or social commitments, designed for solo players yet are still fun with the fire team and are easy to pick up and play for quick sessions. Solo ops will feature a new activity type, which will get a deep dive soon. Okay, so it's not something we have now. So it's not just like Lost Sectors, which I think of as like a solo thing that, doing Master Lost Sectors or whatever. Okay, fire team ops, 3 player activities for match-made or pre-made groups. Designed for fire teams with cooperation. These will feature strikes, onslaught, the coil, and new types in the future. Okay, so they're keeping the coil. So this is the kind of stuff that like is carrying over. Interesting. Well, we know they've kept onslaught, but like, okay, so when this is here, this expands into like these 3 things. So like they're just like adding a coil playlist, just the coil. Interesting. Okay, so this is what they mean by like reprise activity. So like, who friggin' knows what past seasonal activity is gonna come back besides the coil? And how often that will happen. Flashpoint ops. 6 player activities for match-made or pre-made groups. Planned for a future season, this category will be introduced later next year. It will feature more chaotic 6-player combat-like offensives. Okay, I mean, there's been a lot of like 6-player seasonal activities, which are usually not what people enjoy for the most part. 6-player activities often leads to not having too much to do, like 6-player that aren't a raid, you know what I mean? All right, Pinnacle Ops, 3-player activities featuring the more challenging content, including dungeons, exotics, and full-length onslaughts. Okay, so mini onslaughts are still in Fireteam Ot, and then full-length onslaughts for 50 waves are there. They have an exclusive reward pool, but success is not guaranteed. Okay, so raids are not in Pinnacle Ops. Raids are still their own thing, and I have to assume will have their own loot. There's no way they can't have their own loot. But in terms of like the tiers, the difficulty, wondering how that works. Crucible, a selection of core Crucible playlists for solos, players, and fire teams. PvP. Exclusive reward pool is available to claim, same as the depth tier as other categories. So that would also include that includes like everything under there, I'm assuming, even like Iron Banner, Trials, blah, blah, blah. In addition to the above categories, the portal provides direct access to current expansion activities as well as any currently running events like Iron Banner. So Iron Banner's not in Crucible, or Festival of the Lost. Objective streamlining. The portal screen will host consolidated and streamlined side objectives like bounties or seasonal challenges. That aspect of the redesign is still a work in progress, but the primary goal is to reduce the chores need to be done before diving into activity. This is like, going to each thing and collecting bounties and like whatever, even though you can do that from orbit on the app now. Yeah, so that's probably good, I guess. I don't know. Bonus rewards. Every day, several activities in each category will have bonus rewards added to their standard offering. These bonus rewards will include things like specific weapons, specific armor slots, currencies like enhancement materials, or strange coins. Okay, so like daily bonuses, it rotates. Again, is anything happening with armor? Okay. The bonus reward is guaranteed from the first daily clear and available at a high drop rate on future clears. Activities with bonus rewards will be sorted to the top and easy to find so that you can quickly scan what's available and decide if any are worth chasing. For matchmade activities, they will also offer matchmaking at a wider range of difficulty options. Okay. FAQ, are old activities going away? No, except for seasonal activities that are removed at the end of a year. Older activities will remain available to launch from the destination map, just like they are today. Over time, it is our intention to clean up... all right, we already said that. What about Gambit? Oh no! Gambit will not be rolled into the portal categories at the start of next year. We are still trying to figure out our plan for this beloved game mode, and we have some ideas ranging from closer integration in the Crucible category to standalone events that feature it. Oh, Gambit, you're left behind. That's so sad. Will raids and dungeons be in the portal? Okay, dungeon content will be in the portal with some alterations to support challenge and reward rating. Raid content will not initially be present in portal categories. The long clear times combined with the wide variation in experiences present some unique challenges that we are still working through. However, we are excited to get this content into the portal offering in the future. Okay, I think that's it. This is a 50-minute video so far, so if you've made it this far, man, thanks. If not, yeah, this is like the TWAB thing that they did. Okay, so let's go to back to the thing. This is the main thing. Okay, so man, there are a lot of questions with this. Just so many questions. Okay, so these are smaller expansions which contain new locations, new stories. Okay, a new location does not sound like a new destination. You can have a new location within an existing destination. So the idea that each of these expansions is going to come with an entirely new like planet or something does not strike me as something that's necessarily going to happen. Maybe, Apollo has a new planet outside the system or whatever. Maybe Behemoth just has like, here's an expanded portion of the EDZ that's not that big or something. We don't really know that, and I do think the word location there is pretty significant. The raid thing is interesting. It says new raids and dungeons. So I guess you could view that as like, okay, is it one raid and one dungeon? Is it one raid and two dungeons? Is it two raids and two dungeons? My guess would be one raid and one dungeon. So one of these will launch with a raid and one with a dungeon. That's just, again, guessing. And then new missions, they have their non-linear thing for Apollo. They're going to do other stuff. We'll see how that goes. There are like actual story missions. New stories. So it seems the story stuff is condensed to these two things in like, weaving into the arc or whatever. But obviously I don't think they're going to be as in depth or lengthy as the current expansion ones, or as, maybe quote unquote epic. It does not seem like the major updates have like specific seasonal story arcs or missions or whatever, like current seasons or episodes, that this will be rolled into these two mini things. I do wonder if one of these is going to be bigger than the other, or if they're all meant to be like the exact same size. I would be a little surprised if one was not bigger than the other, but I guess we'll see. These are free, but, new and reprised activities, like, that seems, I'm not reading anything here that, like, new sandbox meta. Oh, wow, that's free. Thanks. New modifiers and challenges. Ooh. But there's still a battle pass and whatever. Um, yeah, how much is this going to be? Are they still selling, $100 pass for two small expansions and no real seasons? Is that going to be the same thing? Is there still a dungeon pass? Many questions about this, because this does not strike me as something they'll be able to sell for $100 a year like they have been now. Nor are they selling individual seasons now. So, monetization questions there. Will there be any additional monetization? What else is not in here? I'll probably do a whole separate video on this, but nothing about a new subclass at any point here. A while ago, I heard there was not a red subclass being worked on in any sense. So I don't know when that will come. They said something about new factions. I don't know, again, whether that's factions within existing enemy races. Factions does not sound like races to me, but I guess it's open to interpretation. They did just add the dread. I'm wondering if those might be expanded on. I think a really core question here is what is being reused and how often? Like, the one example they gave is like, okay, the coil is now something that's staying and being put into rotation. And how many of these activities are going to be reprised from past seasons? How many are new? What is the scale of these activities compared to what we've had so far? The loot pool, how many of these are reprised weapons for like third, fourth, fifth time? How many of them are new compared to what we get now? Is anything changing with armor, which they admitted is a boring chase? Nothing was mentioned about that at all. What is going on with the tier system in terms of, no, your stuff's not sunset, but here's this new tier system based on modifiers you put in that will drop certain tiers of gear. I don't know how that would apply to current gear unless it's some sort of like crafting upgrade thing that you can manually do it. I don't really know how that works. Probably a lot more questions I can think of, but this video is very long and that was a whole lot of reading and I need a drink of water. It's less. It's going to be less stuff. Like that much is clear. Two smaller expansions will be the main draw, and then this rotating set of loot pool activity things from this one director screen. A lot of focus on, quote, the core game, replayable things in an era where I think people are tired of replaying things, and like, we're going to be doing the Glassway for the 4th year, and, we're going to be doing these, D1 strikes is part of the core, pool for a given season. Or, in 3 years, we'll still be running Onslaught. You know what I mean? Like, the repetitiveness and, the length and duration we've been doing some of these activities is not changing. This is why people want Destiny 3, because it is, in many senses, going to be a lot more of the same, is what it sounds like to me, and will be for the foreseeable future for many years. I struggle to understand how this will necessarily bring new players back. I get that there's streamlining things and new players can jump in and not be as confused, but like, is this something you can recommend now if it's just less stuff than previously, even if it's more confusing? Will this bring lapsed players back if there's less stuff more generally and not even something like a linear campaign you can play just for the straight story? Doesn't strike me as something that will achieve that, just offhand here, reading this hour-long thing initially. I'm done. I got a lot more to say. I got to summarize all this in an article and all this shit. God, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. That is very nice of you. And I really appreciate that. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.